Well, certainly for the market, it's surprising that we've got an international player looking to delve into the South African gold mining space right now, where we've been hearing time and time again that the operating environment is difficult. Has this potential deal been in the pipeline for a while now, or a pretty recent development?
Good evening, Alicia. Absolutely. We've been in discussions with our partners at Hing International for over 12 months. And in fact, the announcement, the preliminary announcement for the transaction went public at the beginning of April this year. And as you know, the circular detailing the transaction in much more detail went public today. So there have been discussions with our partners over the last 12 months. And this is not something that has happened overnight. It's something that's been coming a long way.
What's the sense that you get from that end in terms of investor sentiment towards the gold mining space in South Africa? Because as I said, on this end, sentiment has been pretty negative with all the costs that these miners have to contend with.
I think it's fair to say that our investors into the company, both in Taung Gold and in the Hong Kong space, take a long-term view in terms of where this company is moving. And yes, I think it's not just in South Africa where the industry is afflicted with certain challenges around costs and so on. Energy costs and labor costs are rising on a global scale. So given our long-term view, we're confident that we can bring these assets to fruition and create value for our shareholders.
So let's take a closer look then at your operations, because we know that Taung Gold is a South African-based exploration and development company. But what exactly would a player like Hing be buying into here?
Firstly, it would be buying into a very substantial gold endowment. We have over 23 million ounces of gold in our the compliant resource statement, and we have potential to grow that resource base as we move forward. Secondly, we have a meeting of minds between the two companies in terms of the future of gold and in terms of the attractiveness of the assets which contain the 23 million ounces and the financial attractiveness of those assets in particular moving forward.
If it does go through, I mean, what synergies would be extrapolated with a tie-up with Hing? How would a deal like this benefit your company?
First of all, having access to the Hong Kong market creates obvious opportunities for us in terms of generating or raising funding to build the mines as we move forward. And we will consider, the board of the company will consider various options in terms of funding the projects over the next 12 months, so that when we get to the stage to make the investment decision, we have very clear plans of how we intend to raise money.
Well, we've got that gold price having hit one record after the next over the recent past. In terms of how you're going to be able to leverage off that high gold price with cost pressures, run us through how you're mitigating against some of the cost pressures, because in today's statement, what has stood out is that you would be one of the lowest cost producers in the South African gold mining industry.
Yeah, the assets that we have they are relatively new assets in terms of the resource, and what we're doing with the work through the scoping studies and pre-feasibility and bankable feasibility studies is making sure that we can design and implement infrastructure which very clearly matches the production profiles of these assets. And that is a very unique position in the South African space as we speak.